So just on the subject of, your creation process when it comes to songwriting, like, I know you've done solo projects, you've obviously have your bands like The Feels and Live How You Live that you've done in the past as well too. Do you find that the way you approach songwriting for those different projects differ in any way?
Yeah, for sure, because like they were like Live How You Live started as a solo project. It's sort of The Feels, really. It's kind of funny, but the Live How You Live was way more of a solo project. Like Todd and I were writing together, but I had a lot of songs that I'd already written, and in fact I had Lorenzo hired to come in and play a bunch of songs when I did the solo CD, officially solo CD, and then Live How You Live was the inception of that. And Ryan and I were working together on. He wasn't even really writing with me at the time. He was just coming and inspiring me to be busy. But I was like, sort of like, not obviously as talented as, but sort of the Dave Grohl approach, where when we started Foo Fighters, he went in the studio, he recorded the drums, bass, guitars, vocals, he wrote everything, he recorded it. It was just all him. Yeah. That was kind of how Live How You Live started, other than drumming. You know what I mean? It was Lorenzo or Todd, and then I would record the bass line, all the guitar parts, all the vocals. Yeah. But with The Feels, which was really exciting, that was kind of a really amazing time in my life, because everybody was so talented and had their parts, and we were a band officially. We go into the room and either just someone would have a riff idea or not. We just, someone would just be on something, and we just kind of check out what key they're in and
kind of what's in the room that night.
Yeah, man. Just start noodling around, and sometimes I'd have my guitar on with me, because obviously I play guitar in the band. Yeah. And other times I would just not play guitar and just let them go at it, and I'd walk outside around here and listen from out here, and you could tell when they were in a funk and getting something really cool going on, and I would just start thinking about melody ideas or whatnot. Yeah. And like for you, did you always have a process of writing where it was like lyrics first or music, or how?
For me, I mean, for the most part, they kind of sort of happen at around the same time, where I'll grab a guitar and strum a couple chords and the melody will come. Sometimes a lyric, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a title of the song, but a lyric will inspire the concept of the song. And but for me, it's it really depends that day, where I've had moments where it's just been the music, and the melody comes later, or it's all happening around the same time. So I try to honor the process, how it's unfolding naturally, but again, if I'm doing a co-write and I'm writing it either for myself or somebody else, it's different energy in the room. You know what I mean? There's going to be different influences, and someone's going to maybe sing something in a different way that I wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah, for sure.
That will inspire me, or say a lyric or say a word that maybe I don't use that will inspire me. And so that process is different as well too. So for me, I really love to feed off people, and that's why I love to co-write. Sometimes it can be obvious that you're onto something, and usually those are the best ideas. And sometimes it's just a work in progress. There's also a part of me that feels like there's an importance of just finishing a song, and just the habit of finishing a tune is really important. The
hardest thing ever is just finally deciding when it's done.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a really cool thing about what the camp is going to be, when we have a lot of people who are coming here as individuals who may have had experience performing with other people and may have not. Yeah. But what I love about what our idea is to kind of put them in a position where, like, I think you always say, there's that discomfort.
Yeah, be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
That's right. That was the line, and I think that's going to be something that is very valuable, because for me, I miss that group thing.
That's the thing too. I think in the camp that the kids will get a lot of, even if you do have a little bit of experience with co-writing with groups or with different people, the individuals are different, so it always almost feels like a blind date. It's like you walk in, you have to meet these people, you have to build a rapport, and then hopefully a great song comes out of it. So there's a lot of teamwork in play, there's a lot of communication in play, that's going to lend itself to writing a great song. So
for sure.
I've been in writing sessions where there's people that just want to take the wheel, and this is their process, and they go, and sometimes you have to sit back and say, this is what it is today. When I go into a writing session, it's going to change a lot of times, and what I find is I throw out the net to writers. So I'll start my writing process with, say, 20 writers, that I really, want to work with, or I've connected from another writer, and, we go in for a session. And when I really start to get into, like, the heart of what my project is going to be, I really bring it down to a half a dozen, maybe 6 people max, because they understand my vision, and this is advice I would give anybody that is co-writing for a project for themselves, is understand what your vision is, who you're about, and you want to work with people that can help bring your vision into life. It's like you go in and you work with these different types of people. Some people are really going to click with you, and some people aren't. Doesn't mean that they're a bad writer or you're a bad writer. It's just you're not clicking, And the ones that really do click and that you stick with for a while to write with, those are the special ones, And I have a handful of writers that I work with that I depend on because I trust in their opinion, what they bring to the table. And like you said, they bring the best out of me,
So as far as like song structures go and stuff, like, do you consciously think about things like, this song needs a cool riff? I'm
a little bit different, right? Like, where someone like you, like you're a great guitar player, and you listen to those parts, where I listen to those parts, but I was always attracted to the vocals and the melodies. I know you were too, but that really caught my attention. So it's almost like a gift and a curse at the same time, as I'm constantly thinking in songs. So it's like you and I could be having a conversation, you say something witty or you say something cool, and I'll be like, man, that's a song, or then I'll put it down on my iPhone, on my notes, because I don't trust myself at this point. And if I could give anybody advice, is don't trust that you're going to remember an idea.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And put it down.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I'm definitely split down the center with that stuff, because sometimes if I get on a little bit of a musical tangent and I'm in the middle of a chord idea and I'm trying to find like a 6th or a 7th or something to match this crazy vocal part or something, and then I start coming up with these little riff ideas and behind the music at the same time. Yeah. And I sit there and work on that for a while, and then kind of, not so much lose sight on but literally splitting my mind up into 2 places, because now I'm thinking about writing these guitar parts, because I'm, kind of fluent that way.
For sure.
But then I'm thinking, okay, well, I need to make room for the vocal idea that I just had underneath this, right? So, I mean, it doesn't always happen at the same time for me, like you mentioned that earlier.
That's a hard thing to do as a vocalist, too, because if you're writing acoustically, it can feel empty, so you want to fill up every space with your melodies and hooks and stuff, where sometimes it's the space between the music that makes the music,
Absolutely. It's funny because, like, I've written, like, obviously a lot of the Live How You Live stuff, there's some pretty heavy tracks. I think, like, probably 90% of those songs were written on an acoustic guitar.
And you mentioned that to me earlier today, and I was actually blown away by that, because I've listened to some of your older stuff, and it was really heavy, and that's hard for me to do, is to grab an acoustic and think that heavy. I mean, I find it, I'd be taking a shortcut, grabbing an electric and going.
I think it's different for everybody. I mean, for me, because, like, again, with the production hat, in my mind, as I'm writing things, I'm hearing kind of the whole thing all the time.
Yeah.
I'm always seeing the song evolving, like a certain drum beat or a certain style, or, tone-wise, what kind of sound I want from a drum kit in behind this, and what kind of bass tone I'm looking for, and where the riff's going to sit. Like, it's always, I can't really help it. It's not like
it's just how you're wired,
right? So, like, having an acoustic to write on is always great, because you can be in your backyard, you can be at the studio, I could be, my basement or wherever, and then in my head, it's like I got this little Sans amp thing going on anyways. In my head, I can hear the production value behind where it's going to go. It's more about the ideas. If you can come up with stuff that's really valuable and put it on your phone,
for sure,
come to it later on.
And I find, too, that, like, is know your strengths and know your weaknesses, and I think always find a way to improve your weaknesses, but double down on your strengths, So, someone like me, like, if I would say what my strengths are as a songwriter, my strongest points would be melody, hooks, and arrangement, and my lyrics are good as well, too, but I wouldn't consider myself a lyricist compared to some people that I know that are incredible, right? Yeah. So I don't need someone to go and come up with more melodies for me and more structure, even though if they have that ability,
doesn't hurt to hear it.
Doesn't hurt to hear it all.
Always be open-minded. Absolutely.
Of course. But I'd like to surround myself with someone that can bring skills that I might be weak on. So, with me, like, I've always used the acoustic. Like, I picked up the guitar when I was 19. I started late when it came to guitar, and I was writing songs, when I was 6 or 7, and I had all these songs in my bedroom. And then at a certain point, I said, man, I gotta put some music to this, you know. And I went to a pawn shop and got a Bravo guitar for $100.
Nice.
And it was terrible, but I learned 3 chords and I started writing songs, and it got the job done, right? But I would now in my phase, it's like I use the guitar as a tool, but I would surround myself with friends that I have, like Andrew McTaggart, you know, who played for Steven Tyler,
and he actually played on a Live How You Live record as well.
Yeah, and he's one of my best friends, and having guys like that to come in that are incredible at their instrument, that can really lift my song to another level that I haven't even thought of yet, is important to me as well, too.
Yeah, it's a very exciting feeling when you're hearing these things come out of the guitar that
Yeah.
are outside of what you would do, and it's like, oh my god, and you're just kind of freaking out at how it sounds, and it's like emotionally not only matching what you wanted, but like
exceeding expectations, right?
Exceeding it, yeah.
Yeah.